Hello, champions, and welcome to What's My Role podcast, episode 33. I'm your host, Golden, and with me today I've got Bean,
What's up?
Donnix,
Hey.
and Mr. E.
Howdy.
Alrighty. So for this week, we're going to be talking about our week in Warcraft, so the floor is open. So anyone who wants to go first, go ahead.
So raids are opening up tomorrow. It's Monday.
That's
now.
next week. That's next week, not this week. You
What?
gotta talk about this week.
This week. Okay. Raids are open, guys. We've definitely played raids already.
No, I meant like what you did for the past week.
Oh, we're talking about that.
Yeah, your week in
Right.
Warcraft. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Sorry, guys. I'm stupid right now.
You're good. I'll start it over if you want.
No, you don't have to start up. This is fine.
Okay.
It's content. That's what it is.
Hell yeah.
So I've spent most of my week grinding out mounts for a video that I'm working on. And
Yeah.
it's probably over 10 hours of time that I spent like killing spiders and bees. So I got.
I think that's a conservative number there, sir.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably more than that. I don't know because I was kind of losing my mind for a little bit of that.
Yeah,
But I got Alanira, which is the Griffin mount. That one took the longest because those crackling shards do not want to drop. And then I got the soaring meter bee too, which that one's actually pretty quick. And then the size bark one, which takes a good bit of time killing the spiders or crabs if you turn on arachnophobia mode.
dude, I haven't like made a concerted effort to like go and kill stuff in Dornegal, but like I've obviously killed mobs there. I still only have one crackling shard. So I cannot imagine how long that shit takes, man.
Well, I know you had said like, because I had brought it up that I needed footage of it. You're like, yeah, I'll jump on and I'll play until I get one. And you're like, dude, I played for like 40 minutes. I didn't get one.
Yeah. 45 minutes.
yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go do something else because this is
Yeah, bro.
ridiculous.
It's been a long time in that there's a fucking cave near Cinderbrew Meadery with a couple like hyper spawning Nerubians in. So you just party up and you just go at it. But
Nice.
I got them all, so I
That's
don't
what's
think
up.
there's too much else that I have to grind as far as like repeatedly killing mobs goes. It's more like kind of
Right.
over time stuff.
Really, the only thing I did this last week is kind of work on gearing up a little bit on my hunter, getting him ready to go. I got to 572.
Very nice.
But it's just doing the weeklies and grinding away. That's really all I did this week.
Yeah, that's pretty good though. I think I'm at 576 now. And it is mostly from just, I mean, I've got a little bit of gear from dungeons, but I feel like most of it's been from kind of the weekly stuff, like
Yeah.
Awakening the Machine and then the Theater Troupe. And I know that there's those ones that you kind of, the one in Hollow Fall's kind of confusing when you first go into it because there's so many like mini events all around you.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But
That's the one with the special, like you do three of the deals and then you get the special event or whatever.
you
Or a
only
special
actually
operation.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
you only actually have to light like 4 of the like small torch things, I believe, to do like the weekly part of it. All the others are kind of just like bonus stuff that you can do, and it seems like they all just drop little clusters of resonance crystals.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a chance that you can get that links in that bag.
Yeah, the Lynx mount. Yeah.
So that's probably a good reason to grind all those.
I think I know what Donnix is talking about though. Like you do the world quests and you had to do so many, and then it unlocks the special request or the special mission.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
That's when that actually gets you the gear. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of chaotic all in Hellafall right there because there's so many blue exclamation marks.
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
stuff going on.
And then every time you light one of those little beacons, there's another quest pops up for you to do.
Yep.
So So that one was confusing the first time I did it. But yeah, it's the theater troupe and then Awakening the Machine, which I know we've talked about a little bit. That one kind of sucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
boring
am
as
glad they
hell
nerfed
Not a
and
it.
it
fan.
takes a long time to do.
It did go faster this week because of the nerf. I definitely felt it, or at least I didn't know it had been nerfed at all. Um, and so I went and did it for this week or this last week, and I was like, man, that went a little bit smoother. And so then, sure enough, I watched some more content creators and looked up some stuff and saw that it had been nerfed. So,
I might have to give it another try then. I've been
so what about you,
avoiding it.
Mr. E?
Um, out of all things, I've been doing PvP all week.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not really a big PvP guy, but I've had war mode turned on and just going about doing my daily doing my daily stuff and doing my world quests. Just kind of like there's a couple like arena zones in the area where PvP world quests come up, and I've been doing that, and it's been fun.
nice. Getting that 10% gold
Y-
increase for doing war quests,
Yeah,
having that on too. It's kind of nice.
yeah. I think it's mainly because like I'm kind of like at that point where any increases I can do are like very tiny increases. Like gear is the same item level, but maybe just slightly
Yeah,
more preferred stats.
yeah,
But
I,
having the risk of somebody just dive on you and just murder you makes them more fun. You know,
yeah, it does.
like you see somebody fly by and you actually have to like kind of stop and be like, "Is
You
that a
kind of like
horde
cower
guy?"
in fear in the shadow for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, God.
I, yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from with that too. It does. And I've heard a few other people talk about this, and I don't want to be like an echo chamber, but I will say this expansion, at least the release of this one, does not feel as rushed. So yeah, like there's some things I could do to raise my gear score a little bit, but I've kind of already gotten, just like you guys, I've gotten where I've wanted to get before season one starts. It's not really an issue. And so now I'm just like I've been doing a lot of side quests. I didn't focus too much on side quests early on, and I actually got most of my gear, like the 571 stuff. I got most of that actually from doing heroics, just pugging. Um, but now that I've been sitting there, I was asking you guys earlier today if I should even bother with getting that. Is it 586 from the renowned?
Yeah,
So
that vet chess piece. Is that what you were talking
yeah,
about?
so now I've just been now that my eye level is kind of where I want it going into season one. Um, I've really just been doing side quests a lot. I've pugged a few more dungeons just to kind of uh, get some more experience in certain ones that I really didn't get to do a lot, doing random heroics before season one starts, and being able to just jump in a group isn't gonna be an option for some of the dungeons, right? So, been doing side quests, and I did do a lot of dungeons to get my gear up, and then I've just been grinding out the renowned with all the factions, and I've done a few delves as well. But man, I'm really enjoying it. I don't really feel any pressure other than like the pressure that I'm putting on myself, to kind of knock out all these side quests.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't do the Miss of Pandaria remix stuff like you guys did, so I didn't really have any alts either. So I'll be working on that next for sure.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you made an earthen. What class did you make again?
shaman, resto
Shaman.
shaman.
That's right.
Yeah, and I had a shaman when I started healing in season 3 of Dragonflight. But I really wanted an earthen one. So yeah, that's another thing I did. I completed the storyline or the side quests, side chain quests to unlock the earthen race and got my shaman to level 20. So I'll work on getting him up there by the end of the week, hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. But yeah, I agree though. This the start of this expansion has felt very like you can kind of experience it at your own pace because of the delayed season, and then plus
Mhm.
the early access and all that. So there's been like no pressure to complete the story and to gear up. It's just kind of all naturally happened as we've been playing. So yeah, I have been also doing like I've knocked out most of the side quests. So I'm kind of gonna be at a point where I the opposite of our experience jumping into Dragonflight, where there's no time. We have to
Yeah.
go do mythics.
Yeah.
Where now it's like I've seen everything that there is to see almost in War Within, and I'm ready to almost be able to completely focus on mythics and raids and PvP and all that really good end game stuff that we love. But
Yeah.
I won't feel like I'm like confused about where I am or what's going on half the time.
Yeah. And I know going forward, because right, September 10th. So we're recording this on September 9th, and gonna have the Delves tier 4 through 8 come out along with Mythic Zero and um Raid as well. Or am I crazy? It's the 10th, right?
Yeah, it's the 10th.
Mhm.
It's
Okay. I thought I
tomorrow.
was
Yep.
losing my mind for a
Correct.
second. Do you guys feel like, and I know we've got 2 DPS, so maybe they won't have an opinion on this necessarily, but do you think the delves are really even tuned evenly, like across the board? Like, do you think a DPS would have a much easier time going through a delve versus like a cloth wearer, or you know what I mean, like a DPS who or someone who wears cloth, or a healer, or hell, a tank, right? So I guess being like, how's your experience been going through delves
Uh
as a tank?
we've only been able to do up to 3, but I've never. There's only been like one time when I've died in a delve, and it was like the final boss of a tier 3. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one where you're underwater, where you got to get the bubbles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like a big crab dude, and he had
Hmm.
killed me just because I was kind of not really paying attention to what was going on. Uh, some of them have been like a little tough, I guess. I don't know how much of that is just to do with I have a lot less haste than I did back in Dragonflight, so uh, sometimes I feel like I'm not quite putting up the holy power that I'm used to being able to
Yeah.
produce, where I can just kind of slam my abilities really quickly. So it's a little bit more methodical, where I'm like, got to pay a little bit more attention to keep my Shield of the Righteous uh, defense up,
Yeah.
because I find a lot of the time it'll actually go down for just like 1 or 2 globals by the time I can get it back up. But I don't know. We've only ever played them solo, so uh, from a tank perspective, they don't really seem like they're going to be too bad.
Hmm.
Um, I can't speak for DPS or healing though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell you from healing, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I am used to having haste, a lot of haste, which lets me kind of turn and burn through my rotation faster. And with not having that and kind of being a little squishier, I am a leather wearer as a healer, which is definitely better than probably being in cloth. So
Yeah.
I have had a few moments where if I'm basically not paying attention to like um my damage mitigation stuff, being on cooldown and rotating through it, um, I can find myself in a tight spot, and I've died a couple times, but I haven't failed a delve. I think you can die like, since it's not time gated, it's like death gated, right? So I think it's like 3 deaths or
Is
something
it
like that.
limited even on the threes?
um,
I hadn't even
well,
noticed if there
I
was.
don't know. I don't know for what we have access to, but I've heard people who've done like the beta and
Mm-hmm.
push
Yeah.
stuff talking about it. But that'll be really good because tomorrow we'll be able to actually all jump in a delve together and do a tier 4 and work our way up to get that great vault reward, which
Yeah,
is
that'll be
definitely
fun.
looking like that's going to be top gear, top value for the first weekly vault.
Yeah.
But Donnix, Mr. E, like, how have you guys felt about delves now that you've had a little bit more time, if you've jumped in any?
I actually did one. I did one today, and I did die in it. Um,
Was it your
but
fault or was it just tough?
It's always the game's
no,
fault.
it was so to go along with what you guys were kind of saying. Like, I had to pay attention. So I was doing a kobold one, and the big dudes, they do that like kind of like little frontal cone or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that will wreck you.
Those big
I was
crawling
just like
rats.
half paying attention and just fighting one of those guys, and yeah, he killed me, and I was like,
Yeah, those dudes
okay,
are pretty strong.
I need to pay attention to that, but immediately right after I pulled like 2 of them and like probably like 10 little guys and had no issue, but that's because I was paying attention. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to be very, or at least the way they are now, to me, it seems like very mechanic oriented versus like actual, like they have a ton of health or they hit really hard type
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I've noticed, like I have Brance as a healer, and he tends to heal when I don't necessarily need heals. And then when I really need heals, he
So he's like
does
me.
like this. He does the stupid heal where he throws like potions out on the floor, and I have to run around and try and grab them.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
that shit.
And he always throws them in the stupidest goddamn places,
Yeah.
just like way off to the side or like in the middle of a mechanic or whatever.
Yeah, I saw this meme on Reddit actually, where it's like Branch just like all the other raid leaders, and it's an image of him sitting smack dab in the middle of one of those like spider webs. And it's like, "Don't step in the spider web, Sonny," or whatever the fuck he says.
That's awesome.
I've died a few times though.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of what Mr. E was saying. It's you gotta pay attention. It's you can't just smash your way through them. The mechanics are important on them, and I mean interrupting and doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing like in a group, but you're doing it solo, so it kind of feels weird because usually when you're going out and doing solo stuff, whether it's leveling or whatever, you're just smashing your DPS buttons and not worrying about anything else. So it's a little different. You gotta kind of get into the mindset of like you're doing a dungeon.
Yeah, where it's not, even though you can do it solo, that doesn't necessarily mean you should treat it like most of the
Yeah.
solo content in this game, where if you're like max level, even if you're not like great geared, you can still do pretty, solo content in the overworld's usually not that bad at all.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Um, what do we think about this though? Because with this first week, that means we're gonna be knocking out delves. And I know we're still, Donnix, you brought this up the other day. Um, we're still gonna have to spend time in Mythic Zero, to get a feel for the dungeons, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
But isn't I feel like it's kind of nice knowing that we're kind of gonna do this other group activity that's not Mythic Zero or not Mythic Plus, um, to gain progression. You know what I mean? Like kind of a nice change of pace.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
definitely good. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, especially for like the gearing aspect of it, because when you're going up and you're climbing through mythics, gear's not you're not getting gear every boss kill.
That's a good
Like
point.
you
Yeah.
might get one piece of gear at the end if you're lucky, and then you get your vault. So if
Yeah.
you're just grinding out mythics, you're not getting gear, really.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you get lucky. But in these delves, you should be getting gear, I believe, at the end of each one, at least one piece.
If you use the coffer key, I think you're guaranteed a piece of gear,
Yeah.
right?
And that's something, Bean, you were talking about earlier that people should probably be careful about.
Oh
You
yeah.
were talking about the keys. So, for those listening or watching, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
had seen a post on Reddit, someone who's been like slamming the delves, trying to get, a good feel for them. And I guess there is a daily lockout on how many bountiful delves you can do in a day. So while we are going from, you know, we're doing like tier 4, 5, 6, and 7 to get up to those 8s, don't do bountiful delves for any of those lower tiers. Because even if you don't use your key in them, you won't be able to do another bountiful delve. You won't be able to do that same bountiful delve at tier 8 and use the key because it will be locked out for the day, regardless of what tier you do it
Yeah.
on. So that's
Yeah.
something we should all be aware of starting tomorrow to
Yep.
uh,
100%.
not be goofing off with those lower tiers.
Yeah, buddy.
So they're on a daily
Yeah, I think that's
lockout.
what he had said. I don't remember, 100% how he worded it or the exact rules behind it, but that was the general idea: is don't do the bountiful delves on the lower tiers. Do them once you are at tier 8.
Gotcha. Something else I
Makes
actually
sense.
forgot. Oh, sorry. Something else I forgot to mention too. We did do some more dungeons with Goat, helping him get up to level 80. So that was good. And we also got to play uh with we had another individual who
Surgeon?
recently joined our guild. Yeah. We got to do some dungeons with that person as well, and that was awesome. So I really appreciate him jumping in with us. We had a blast, and I hope you had fun. So
Yeah,
if you're
Surgeon
if
did
you're
great.
listening, yeah,
Good
it was a
deal.
lot of fun. He talked like he had a bad game, and then he crushed it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
He's like, "Don't. I'm sorry if I'm." No, you're not gonna hold
yeah,
us back.
yeah. No, so it
We
was
do that
good. So thanks for
ourselves.
playing with us. Yeah, we're good at that. Um, something else, Bean. I think I talked to you about this yesterday. Do we feel like heroic's supposed to feel like the old Mythic Zero, right? And Mythic Zeros are supposed to feel like a plus 10 or the old plus
Yes.
10, right? And I haven't really decided like if it's I know we're making progress with learning Mythic Plus. Um, but it felt I know we died a few times. It's not like we didn't die in the heroics, but we were pulling like mobs like balls to the
We were
wall,
doing
like just
some
having I was like
crazy pulls.
encouraging you to basically murder us. I was like, yeah, get them, like pull more. Um And I don't know if it's because of the level of gear they've allowed us access to at this point that is making it feel this way, or if we're progressing and basically we're kind of more relaxed because I still feel like I look at heroics like they're heroics, right? Like I don't really think of it as like, oh, it's mythic, mythic
It
plus
definitely does
or
not
mythic
feel
zero.
like Mythic Zero.
But is
Which, I
that the
mean,
general
Mythic Zero wasn't
consensus?
even that tough, honestly, before.
Yeah. But do you guys feel like that they're easier than what you expected for what it's supposed to be, like the equivalent of from the past?
Yeah. Um yeah, they're really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not Mythic Zero. I think maybe like because yeah, they said it's it's supposed to be the new Mythic Zero, but I wonder if there's still mechanics that are not in place in the
Yeah,
heroic difficulty. Because like that's really what the biggest jump is. It's not health numbers or anything. It's additional mechanics. That's what kills you in Mythics.
yeah.
And I
It
know they add a few, but I don't think they're like as critical as when you go to Mythics. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah,
Well, I
like you
know
you
that
are dead, basically, yeah.
Right.
I know that once the season starts, heroics are actually supposed to start giving out even higher gear.
Okay.
So I wonder
Yeah.
if they will also be tuned at all to be a little bit harder to go along with that, or if this is just how it is.
Hmm,
Because yeah, it does feel really easy. It does not feel like this is like Mythic Zero content the way we're kind of doing it at the moment.
yeah,
But kind of to Golden's point though, we've played Mythics like constantly, like to the point where stuff that I do for Mythics is just part of my normal play, like
yeah,
throwing
it's
down
true.
stuns, popping my defenses, and stuff like that. So like that's kind of like gotten ingrained with us. So it might
Yeah,
be a bit easier for us than the average
Yeah.
player.
Like maybe we're just a little bit better than we used to be. I don't know.
maybe.
Oh, I'm not. I'm as good as I always was. You
I
guys
don't know about
a little
that.
bit
Still
better than
sucked.
that.
Always so humble. Yeah.
There is that huge patch coming, 11.0.5, if we wanted to get into that at all.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring that up. So yeah, patch 11.0.5. I'm not gonna list everything that's coming with this because
No.
we'll be here for an hour. But I think I've done enough talking. But if you guys have taken a look at that, there's some big stuff coming. So anybody who wants to jump in and start talking about it, go ahead and have at it, and I'll fill in some stuff if I feel like I need to.
Yeah, I've got like a real quick bit on it because
Yeah, go
I
for it.
I'm not like super familiar with all the like older stuff. So a lot of this anniversary stuff to me is kind of like, wow, yeah, remember when I never did any of this before?
Yeah.
But it's from what I've kind of read and seen, this is kind of like the biggest deal they've ever made of an anniversary event to the point where it's like an entire patch instead of just like
Yeah.
a couple days thing here, or maybe like a week long, couple goofy things. It actually seems like it's a much bigger deal, with things like an old raid being completely like relevant. I think it's relevant gear wise, right? Is that what it's
Yeah, I
supposed
think
to
so.
be?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know. Well, they're turning Blackrock Depth into a 10 to 15 player raid, and that was a dungeon.
that was a
I
dungeon
mean,
Yeah.
before.
that
Okay.
was
Yeah, that's
probably what
huge.
the quote unquote the first mega dungeon in
Yeah,
WoW
the
because it was
first
fucking
mega.
Oh,
huge.
gotcha.
Okay, so this is the stuff that I don't know about. And then I also saw that they're bringing classic dungeons to time walking. I don't know that I've ever done a classic dungeon at all. I'm not sure
I
if I have.
literally just saw that. Like I pulled up the article. I'm excited for Dead Mines. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the
see, I've
first
never done
dungeon
Dead
I
Mines.
ever did.
I wonder what version of Dead Mines it's gonna be though. Like the
I hope it's the
original?
original. I hope
Yeah, I know,
so.
me too. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, that was good times back in the day where just some random guy's like, "Hey man, we need a fifth person. You want to go do this?" I was like, "I don't know what it is, but I'll do it."
I'm here for it.
That's awesome.
Then
Yeah.
you had to try and find your way down there, which was even
Yeah.
that's half the time you spent in the dungeon.
Oh, I didn't even have the flight points. I had to walk from
Yep.
Stormwind.
That is one of the first dungeons, Mystery, I think you showed me. Like, I didn't really play back then, but like I had jumped on or made some type of character during Kata. And I think you had like taken me there or something.
Probably at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if we leveled up, like if
Yeah, it
we
wasn't current content, but we were in
we
Goldshire.
no, we leveled together for a little bit. We
Oh,
did the
that's
recruiter
right.
friend thing, and yeah, I
That's
think
right.
that was probably one of the first ones we did.
Yeah.
That was the new Dead Minds, but I mean, more
Oh,
or less
gotcha.
basically the same as the old one, just a little bit different. But
Um,
it and Hogger are like will live on in like WoW meta lore, I guess.
Yeah.
awesome.
But
There is no
there's
release date. There is no release date as of yet, but I think people are projecting for the WoW 20th anniversary stuff.
Well, it
Um,
says on there to expect it November and December to
right.
be. So I would
But
guess
we have a
November's the
time
patch.
frame, but we don't have a day yet.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
um, but yeah. Donnix, were you gonna say something? I mean to cut you
I
off.
was gonna say there's so many cool dungeons that just don't people don't see anymore that this is gonna kind of uh introduce people to. And this is like we've talked about this in the past, and at least I have, about how a lot of that old content's just not people aren't gonna see it because there's no reason to. So this is an
Right.
awesome thing for them to do. I'm pretty stoked about it.
And
So
Yeah.
this is a win.
there's not
Yeah.
currently a vanilla time walking, right? Like that's
No.
just
No.
not a thing.
No.
So that'll be nice. Because
Yeah.
I
Uh
think,
I'm looking
yeah, it
forward to it.
says after the event that these dungeons will be put into the time walking rotation.
Mm.
It-
oh,
Could
So
nice.
do
you
you think
imagine?
that the BlackRock raid will be the time walking raid whenever they do kind of the cycle?
That would be cool if it was.
Eh, What would you think if they took the vanilla dungeons and like dropped one or two of them in a mythic season rotation?
Oh God.
It would probably be heavily reworked, I would
Oh,
imagine.
it would have to be
Some
reworked,
of them would
but
have to be. Yeah.
that would kind of be that would be cool. I think that would be really cool.
Mythic Strathholm though. Oh my
Okay.
God, that'd be amazing.
That would be cool. I have done Stratholme, so that would be sick.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. I wonder if that's down the pipeline, but I guess we'll have to wait to
We would
see.
die so many times.
That'd be fun.
um Dracthyr.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Holy
who's making a
shit.
track there.
Dracthyr, man, getting hunter, rogue, mage, priest, warlock, and warrior available to them. That's huge. That is huge. One of the reasons why I haven't played a Dracthyr is that I haven't really wanted to. I want to check out the healer. Um,
Preservation?
but yeah, but I don't want to do evoker, and so this will probably be something I'm gonna be able to get into. Like, I would totally make a Dracthyr rogue. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
It's nice that they get 100% visage time. And then that also means that all 6 of these classes are getting access to a race that has a glide. And
yes.
that is like insane
Yeah.
mobility to be adding to like a warrior that can now glide after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what how this is going to work with like PvP. This is probably going to
Yeah,
like
some
So
tuning
be
I
a
maybe.
will
really big
say,
thing.
demon hunters have glide, but they also have double jump.
Yes.
Dracthyr don't
Yeah,
have
they
double
don't have
jump.
double jump, but still that glide is
I mean, no,
fast, man.
it's still huge. It's
Yeah.
just demon hunters are still better.
Does
Oh,
anybody
that's what
have a
this is
class?
about.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Dracthyr Demon
I'm
Hunters.
still
Triple
partial,
jump.
obviously, to Demon Hunter.
Mhm.
I look forward to the day when Blizzard comes to their senses and they make a Demon Hunter healer. But
Yeah. No, have you
um,
guys seen the squadron thing for the
no.
Dracthyr? So you know how like
Oh,
when
yeah.
we did our dragon mounts, how you could ride along and you'd be a little dragon, like
Yeah.
it's like that, but you're not a little dragon, it's your character. And you two people can ride along and your characters
Oh,
will fly together like in a V, you
holy
know?
crap! Like a flock. Yeah,
Yeah.
A flock of
that's pretty
Dracthyr.
sick. A
Flock of
flock of
Dracthyr.
Dracthyr. Whatever they call it for
Actually, a
dragons.
draggle.
Yeah,
Draco.
it's called a drock.
Rock. So, yeah, I'm probably going to make
Yeah,
a couple of those classes on. Probably like a warrior and a priest, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
It's a tough call.
yeah.
Warlock might be sick too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad they're opening it up though to these other options.
Still say shaman should have been one of them, but then they'd have to make a new totem model.
I did see somebody bring that up actually as well. Um, something to do. I'm gonna sound stupid, which is normal, but um, weren't the Dracthyr involved like fighting against was the primal or the I'm not good on the story, but I heard somebody basically state their case for why they should be able to be shaman.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was
in
kind
the
of a
in
thing in
the
the story for
yeah,
Dragonflight,
Yeah.
in
right?
the elemental, like whenever the dragons come up, elemental planes come up. Like when Deathwing showed up, he brought Ragnaros with him, Ragnaros, whatever. Um, so like they were trying to pull the Firelands into like our reality or our plane of existence. The air dude, I don't remember his name, he was trying to pull him in. And it was the same thing with in Dragonflight. You had the incarnates or whatever, the evil
The primal.
dragons.
Yeah.
um that's what Farak, I think it was. That's he was
Hmm.
trying to pull the elemental fire plane into the Emerald Dream instead. um so like Smolderon, he was one of the raid bosses. We actually installed him as the new Fire Lord after we killed Ragnaros. So
Gotcha.
America.
I guess my main point is like they always kind of go hand in hand with each other. Like when the dragons are involved, the elements are getting involved.
Yeah.
Like the Titans like made them aspects to like watch over the planet and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it just seems weird not to.
looking at the class list, I don't see a reason why Dracthyr couldn't be every single class.
Yeah.
Especially Paladin though, because like if they can be a priest and wield the light, why couldn't they wield it as
Be
a
a
paladin?
paladin. Yeah.
That's true.
And
I mean,
then,
technically, in the lore, like some of the priests use different types of magic, but
oh yeah,
that's
It's a different
kind of
kind of
being
light.
nitpicky. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna see them as
Well, the
holy and
priestesses of Elune technically don't use the light; they use the power of the moon. But
oh,
what have you? It. You could still make them fucking
but
paladins.
that's like a druid class though, essentially, right? Or no?
Yeah, basically.
Dracthyr aren't the only thing that's getting some changes and some choices here. With patch 11.0.5, we've also got some class changes going on. And I won't delve too heavy into them, but if any of these patch changes affect you guys or what you might be maining or what you might pick up, um,
Uh, yeah.
for myself, Mistweaver, holy crap. I'll just keep it really short and sweet. Mistweaver is looking like it's going to be able to dole out some serious damage. We'll wait. I'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna jump on the PTR stuff and give that a look. Um, it's definitely have something potentially to swap out for more AOE. Um, and one of the abilities that basically I never use, like the crackling jade lightning,
Oh
that
yeah,
does like 0 damage. That's
it's
getting
lightning.
like yeah, it's getting a huge buff. And there's some other stuff involved as well, involving like Thunder Focus T, and it affects all that stuff. But I'm super pumped. It's gonna get Mistweaver is gonna get a lot of attention, I think, from people once that patch goes live.
Yeah. There's a fuck ton of stuff with the paladin. Like I can't even go over all of it. I tried to like take notes, but it's like over a
Yeah,
page
just
long
sum
of
it up.
just different little things here and there. But there's been probably the biggest stuff is like some of the divine steed changed where you can take divine spurs where there's 20% reduced cooldown on it, but the duration's decreased by 40%. So I'll be able to divine steed a lot more. It's just the divine steed itself doesn't last as long, which is I feel like that's a win. Running the mythics because there's a lot of times where I've used both my charges and it's going to be a minute before I
Right.
can be fast again. And then there was another one that was like I don't know. There's one that like grants me 3 seconds of blessing of freedom when I use divine steed. It's steed of liberty. There's another one that reduces allies' major movement abilities by 3 seconds. Lead the charge. And then there were some other ones like I don't know if it's good or it sounds good, but it might actually be bad. Like righteous, no, it's not that. It's worthy sacrifice, where if a nearby ally drops below 35% and they're within 40 yards, it auto casts Blessing of Sacrifice, which in theory sounds good, but it does take away the freedom of deciding when and where to use it.
Right.
So I mean, there's a fuck ton of changes with Paladin, and it's kind of nuts. So I also might have to jump on the PTR and kind of get a feel for how things are looking.
Yeah. Anybody else have some changes to some of their classes that they're playing?
I'm
Maybe.
looking for the post.
Maybe.
I haven't looked.
And we'll
I can't
post a
hear you
link to this
guys.
too for those of you listening or watching. We'll definitely make sure we post a link to it down in the description.
Demon Hunters got buffed again. Damn it.
Oh come on.
Shut up.
When will they leave us alone?
No, like honestly, like for me, the biggest changes is they're changing Sigil of Spite and the Hunt icon. I guess they're gonna make them less Shadowlandsy looking and more
Hmm.
demony looking because they've changed the animation colors. But yeah, words.
Gotcha.
So overall, it looks like survival's getting buffed, which is awesome because they kind of
Oh.
got nerfed a little bit last time. Looks like on a lot of our major abilities got a percentage increase, which is great. And then I'm Sentinel for my hero, and the only thing they changed is it says Lunar Storm's visual effects have been updated. So I get
Is good or
a
bad?
visual buff, I guess.
It's gonna look better.
It's
It's gonna look
probably
nice.
it might be. Wait, what ability is it?
It's this little like owl bird, right?
Yeah,
Is
my
that
little
from
owl guy.
Shadowlands?
No, this is Lunar Storm. It like when I throw my bomb, it this owl comes out and like AoEs the area like around the bomb.
It like shits
Okay.
or what?
I
Shit's
think
Lunar Storm.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, looks like a lot of good stuff here. I'm
Nothing
pretty
too
stoked
crazy.
actually.
Just mostly
No,
kind
I
of
mean
percentage stuff.
it's percentage stuff. Ruthless Marauder has been redesigned. Damage from Fury of the Eagle has a 20% chance to generate a stack of Tear of the Spear or tip of the spear. So that's
Ooh.
cool. Yeah, I mean, all around, it's really good stuff. When Fury of the Eagle ends, your haste is increased by 8% for 10 seconds. Now a 1 point talent. Yeah, good stuff. I'm
Nice.
stoked. I'm not used to seeing good stuff when it comes to
So yeah,
survival
a
hunters.
little bit
So
of redemption for you after they were gonna like buff survival hunters, and then they kind of like threw it back a little bit before the release of War Within.
yeah, no, that
So that's
I'm
good.
glad to see that they're working on making it viable.
Yeah. So long story long, there's a lot coming in this patch, and coming with the 20th anniversary stuff. We'll get to over to roll call here, and we can
Yeah.
start going over them YouTube comments.
Hold on. Let me pull
Uh,
them up. Unless you already have
AA
them.
Ron. AA
Hey.
Ron.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have on our Start Strong and WoW essential tips for new and returning players at Lorino. I'm new to WoW, but in my opinion, a mouse with tons of buttons is not necessary. I just binded keys to be keys near WASD and keys near WASD plus shift. I'm using a lot of abilities, never had any problems. Then he did like a little kind of smiley face. Is very comfortable in my opinion.
Preach.
And I had said, yeah, I said, oh, for sure. It really is down to personal preference, not a requirement at all to enjoy the game. I had a much better experience when I started using one as a beginner, and that's why I recommend it. Longer I've played, I've actually bound much more keys, so I rely less on the extra mouse buttons, but they're still nice to have. Thanks for the perspective. So yeah, I
yeah,
mean, definitely agree with them. You do not need an MMO
yeah,
mouse.
yeah. To each their own, man.
I personally enjoy using one, but it will not stop you from performing well at all.
No.
We all have our own
No.
shortcomings. It's fine.
Yes, some of us have more than others.
As you may be able to tell, Mr. E does not play with an MMO mouse.
Yes, and as you have definitely learned by now, he likes to feel superior to people.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, what
Just let me
else do
have
we
this,
get?
okay? Just let me have this.
I am better than you. Okay, we had on our last podcast, I had asked with the pinned comment, we're back with our thoughts on War Within. What's your favorite new zone or feature so far? Share your experiences and any tips you picked up along the way. Darkwing Game 602, new guildie actually. He joined our guild and he's a pretty cool guy. We have not actually had a chance to play with him yet, I don't think. I think he's normally on during the day, and we're more kind of night owls. But his comment had said the side quest storylines that World built as his favorite stuff. And obviously, there's lots of really cool things. So, who else has been enjoying those side quests?
Dude, I love the side quests. They're uh you know me, man. I have been very like for a while. I just hop on and I just want to do the mythics, and I haven't cared about like doing anything else. Even if it was to my own detriment to get my gear score up. Like I hated doing the weekly stuff in Dragonflight. Like you guys be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Come on, we're gonna go do this thing in the Emerald Dream," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just not doing that. Not doing it." I loathed the idea of doing it, and that you had to do it at the specific time. And yeah, so I just was not about it. But in this expansion, I'm all for it. Like I've had a blast.
Yeah, I'd say the only which we talked about is the Awakening the Machine is the only one that I've kind of been bummed when I have to do it. But
Yeah.
I've kind of enjoyed myself everywhere else.
Um
And then,
Also,
oh, what's
oh
up?
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna read our last comment from Tiggs Gaming, another new guildie. Uh, he brand new, just got a sub, and I think is level 23 in the guild now. So hopefully we'll be able to play with him soon. said, "Hello. So I just recently started playing. I'm level 15 in the level 20 trial. So far, I'm loving it. It just feels overwhelming. If I plan on playing after 20, what's the next step?" And then, I kind of went in with the whole, here's what you need to do. Join the guild and we'll help you out. And we've been doing our best to kind of help get him situated because obviously it's a lot for a brand new person to get into this game at this point.
Absolutely. Um, but I am looking forward to getting more involvement with the community and for the guys who are joining the guild and getting in the Discord. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to playing with you guys. Raids are going to open up, right? So we will be looking to do that. Bean, I know you have it set up for the 13th. This Friday. What's the time zone or what's the time on that?
10 Eastern.
And Eastern?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's the
Yep. So
best way to put it.
please, by all means, for anyone listening or watching or anyone who's joined the guild, if you're at the point where you want to jump in, or even if you are not a part of the guild and you just want to jump in and go through that with us, yeah, great to have you.
Yeah. Should be fun. Hopefully.
Right? That will be. It'll be good. It'll be a learning experience.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
For
there's no
sure.
negative
For
or
sure.
necessarily positive connotations with that.
Yeah. I am really curious to see the story, though, because
Yeah, I am too.
never experienced the live story in a raid as it's just releasing,
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited for sure. Um, and that I think we kind of brought that up too when we were talking to one of our friends being last night. Um, Donnix and Mr. E, like, have you guys ever completed a raid on heroic or done a whole done a whole raid on normal with the same group of people or anything like that?
No. I've
I
done
have.
I've done like a boss here or there, but never any, because it's always like pug groups. So the second you have one wipe, no one's
It's
sticking
over.
around for that, and they're
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
leave the group.
yeah,
So I think I've probably done the equivalent of a LFR wing, but never a
gotcha.
full thing.
Yeah.
So I
So
raided through vanilla. Um, did a lot of molten core. I was in an actual raiding guild. Um, didn't raid in BC or Wrath of Lich King. Um, no, I did. I did raid a little bit in Wrath of Lich King because I did Old War.
Yeah, didn't you say
Um,
you tanked Old War?
yeah, I tanked Old War on my Paladin. Um, so I have a bit of early on um raid experience with raid guilds, but nothing like in the modern WoW.
yeah,
Yeah. Was heroic rating? When did that start?
Hmm,
Wrath,
I'm
I
not
think.
Wrath?
sure. Was it
was it
Wrath?
Wrath?
Yeah, ICC has heroic.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I
so I
know that
guess
we weren't doing heroic yet. We were just doing
yeah.
In
normals.
normal? Okay.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, this will be something new for all of us, you know. So I think that makes it uh just kind of special. Like I'm super looking forward to it, man.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
super pumped. So
Can be fun.
yep. You guys got anything else?
I think that's good. We did run
I'm
pretty
good.
long.
That's all right. Alrighty. Well, that's it for the podcast. Appreciate you guys watching, listening. Let us know about your week in Warcraft and what you're looking forward to. And by all means, like we talked about, we'll be raiding on Friday, so come join us if you'd like. But that's all we got. So we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.